The Republicans propose only $500 for dependents, but will that last in a final second stimulus check package? Hey everybody, this is LALATE with a second stimulus check and stimulus package update for today with big exciting news about the check, especially if you're on SSDI, SSI, Social Security and railroad benefits, and especially veterans benefits. Big news about the check, which we now know the Republicans' position debuted about 24 hours ago today. 24 hours ago yesterday. I just butchered that expression. With what they call the HEALS Act, as I sort of just made a heel of myself with that expression. The HEALS Act and the HEROES Act sort of sound catchy. It's sort of like, the Catfields and the McCoys. But what's in the stimulus check? How much will you get it? When will you get it? And when does it land in your account? Show me the money, LALATE. Well, here we go. Let's get right to the details. And then I'll go through the nuances and I'll answer some of your 1,000 questions from yesterday. The check amount, it depends if you are a dependent or not a dependent. If you're a dependent, the Republicans propose to only give you $500. The Democrats will give you $1,200. If you are not a dependent, the Republicans and the Democrats both give you $1,200. Next, both of them will also agree that all dependents will get a stimulus check, so that's really great news. Finally, when will you get the check? Well, it will be dependent upon them agreeing on a lot of other mess, including a federal building for $3 billion that has nothing to do with COVID-19, a provision that gives you free deductions for going out for restaurants that no one really wants, and a lot of other crazy junk in this bill, these two bills. So let me get to the details now that you know the amounts, and let's find out what you can expect and when you could see the money. First, the proposals on their face look quite similar, but really aren't. The Democrats propose $1,200 if you're not a dependent and $1,200 if you are a dependent, up to 3 dependents per tax return, despite whatever age you are. That is a clear improvement from the first stimulus package, which really screwed over anyone who was an adult dependent. You weren't eligible for a first stimulus check under the first stimulus package if you were an adult dependent. Gone is that ridiculous rule this time around. The Republicans agree on that. Finally, they came to their mind and came with a proposal yesterday and said, we will also pay in our proposal adult dependents and will pay minor dependents. But there was a catch. Under the first stimulus package, minor dependents got $500, adult dependents got nothing. This time around, Republicans say, we like that $500. We're going to use it for everyone. So we're going to pay minor dependents $500, adult dependents $500. Democrats say, no, we're paying all dependents $1,200. That's what they currently propose. Now, what will happen? Now, let me first explain to you, and this is so important. This is so important because we don't often talk about this. Let me explain to you the process to get the check approved. First, the check is not its own bill. First of all, it's not a law. A couple of people in the comments said, I saw on Fox News it became a law. No, it's not a law. Some people said, I saw this was a law. No, it's not a law. These are proposals. These are bills. For a bill to pass, it has to pass by both houses of Congress, both the Senate and the House of Representatives. You have 2 competing bills. If they operate as separate bills, they have to be approved by both houses. The Democrats' bill has been approved by one of the houses, the House of Representatives. It's currently in the Senate. The Republicans' bill has been approved by neither house. It was just introduced yesterday. Now, if the 2 bills are combined together, which is very possible, heroes and heels, then they also have to be approved by both houses. So currently, you have nothing lined up for approval. When does this have to get approved by, and how does it get approved by? Now, this is also very important. The stimulus check is part of the stimulus package, which includes a lot of junk that no one really wants, and a lot of stuff that's actually quite good, and then a lot of stuff that's missing. That has to be approved, and ultimately what's happening is exactly what the Democrats want, which is one package and one package only. We're not doing 25 different bills. So if the package doesn't get approved, the check doesn't get approved. And then if the package negotiations drag on for weeks, the check doesn't get sent to you. Yes. I got to tell you the good and the bad and the ugly. The good is that you're getting a check. The bad is that if they can't agree upon the package, you're not getting the check when we're thinking about you getting the check. We had talked about August 9th, 10th, which is next Friday, as when this package would likely get approved. The reason why is because those people have to go back on their darn vacation again. And once they go back on their darn vacation, we don't have a stimulus package approved and we don't have a check going out in the mail. Horrible. Really, really horrible. Their priority is their vacation. My priority is you getting a check. So what's going to happen, LALATE? Well, it's a little scary. We have today, which is Tuesday. We have all this week, and then we have next week to Friday. They got to get this package that has a lot of crap in it approved by both houses in about 9 days and on the president's table to sign. And if they don't, we got nothing. Now, where are we going with this check amount? I, first of all, think that the Republicans are going to move on the $500 dependence amount. I don't think they're going to stand with it. A lot of people have been dropping the comments that they had heard on one of the broadcast channels that apparently Trump doesn't like the $500, that he wants to go back to $1,200. It seems to blow with the wind like the wind is blowing right now. A lot of viewers are really pissed at the president, and rightfully so. He has not been truthful to you once again. He said that the Democrats' proposal of a $1,200 check was not enough, and that he wanted to give you a more generous check than $1,200. Well, he's not giving you a more generous check. In fact, everyone knew that comment was made, and was so clearly made that when Steve Mnuchin appeared on Talk Radio and Talk TV this weekend, he said, when I debut the stimulus package on Monday, it will be very generous. He repeated that exact expression. Well, he also was not truthful, and was untruthful about a lot of stuff like rent assistance, which he said was in there, is not in there. But the check is very disconcerting. You have been really not well represented by both Republicans and Democrats through this process, because you were promised multiple checks back in the spring. You're not getting multiple checks. They said you were going to. You didn't get them then. You said you're supposed to get them now. You're not getting them now. So where are we? Well, you're likely to only get one check right now. You could get more checks in the future, Steve Mnuchin claims, but, he's flopping a lot lately, and I don't mean Flipper, I mean Steve. He's flopping a lot. He's saying one thing, and then literally the next day he's saying something different. So it's very, very troubling. Viewers have asked me other questions about this check, so let me get to the other things that you need to know right now. The issue of dependence. Who gets the check? Well, here's what you need to know. If you are on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, Railroad benefits, Veterans benefits, and you're not a dependent on someone else's tax return, listen up right now. You will get the check the same manner in which you get your benefits. And if you got your first stimulus check, don't worry, it'll come exactly the same way you got your first stimulus check. If you did not get your first stimulus check, and you're not a dependent on someone's tax return, then there's a problem with the IRS. They don't know where you are. You need to really do a non-filer filing right away. But if you are a dependent on someone's tax return, then you are not eligible for a first stimulus check. This time around, you are. So a lot of viewers have asked, hey, LALATE, I'm a dependent, but I'm also on benefits. Who gets my check? The person whose return I'm on, or do I get the check? It seems as though it's going to the person whose return you're dependent on. So here's an example. You're dependent on your son's tax return, and the tax return features your son and his wife and you. So your son, and let's say the son's name is listed first on the joint filing. Your son would get a check for 3 people. Would get one check for 3 people. It would be a triple check, triple amount of a check. So he would have your check, not you. There are three groups of people that really have to pay attention going into the next few days of getting routing to the check. If you have newly gone on benefits this year and have never filed a 2019 tax return, you're probably going to have to do a non-filer filing. If you started benefits this year and have a child, and that child, has never filed a tax return, you may have to do a non-filer filing as well for that child. If you have been on benefits last year but did not file a 2019 tax return and also have a child, you'll probably have to do a non-filer as well. There's a real problem with the IRS really not able to find where you are. Now, ultimately, if you got the first stimulus check, great, the IRS knows where you are. But because the IRS knows where you are for purposes of your benefits check doesn't mean they know where you are for purposes of your stimulus check. Next, you're going to ask me, LALATE, when am I getting my money? Well, if the package is approved on August 9th or August 10th, you'll get it in late August, and you'll get it in the manner which we're talking about. If the package is not approved then, I don't know. That's the part that's disconcerting. And what's very, very obvious, the elephant in the room, do you see the elephants in the room, is that August, not this Friday, but the Friday after that, is only about 2 months away from the presidential election. So if one party wants the other party's candidate to implode because they couldn't give you a stimulus check, well, they may ultimately use your stimulus check as a pawn to get that other party out of office. Interesting predicament we're in, and it's not helping you whatsoever. Let me answer some of your incredible questions from yesterday right now. Marilyn, they should give us $5,000 for 4 months we lost. Very well said. Anna, I sit here and cry how our government treats us. Very well said. Tina, they don't care about people. They don't care about anyone. Benita, I'm so sick of the damn government and their games they play. Yes, and Mitch McConnell is literally out there doing all these things for big business. He wants to tax deductions of going out to dinner. $3 billion FBI building has nothing to do with COVID-19. Assurance that businesses can't be sued for COVID-19 related issues unless it's intentional acts. Everything's for big business. Nothing is for the American people. Shamika, why don't they want to give the frontline hazard pay? Because no one in the Republican Party represents the interests of individuals currently in the second stimulus package. Now, I am not partisan. I'm not talking partisan. I'm just telling you the Republican second stimulus package is crap. It literally is crap. And that no one is going to be able to go on a political campaign this fall as a Republican and say they represent the interests of the people, of the employees of the country, the working people, because they absolutely don't. There is nothing in the second stimulus package for working Americans. It is all for big business, and that is very, very clear. They made it very, very clear in what they've done here. So if that is the political hat that they want to wear, good luck. I don't think they're going to get themselves reelected that way. Carol, I wonder what happens when all the nurses get sick and doctors decide they don't want to risk their lives. Hazard pay question. Republicans have not included hazard pay in their bill. There could be a real big problem. I mean, you could go to the supermarket, you may end up not seeing people in the supermarket because no one is going to work in a supermarket or a hazardous environment if they're not compensated by their business. Kroger and Albertsons, all these companies are not paying hazard pay going forward. The unions are heading them to pay it. They're not paying it. The states aren't paying it. And now the federal government doesn't want to pay it. I just don't think people are going to show up to work. Sherry Clark, oh my God, we're ready for a national riot. Just don't come here. I got to record, please. Luez Gonzalez, oh my God, restaurants. How are we going to spend money in restaurants when there's no money to spend in restaurants? It's ridiculous. It really is ridiculous. It's clear that someone in this White House owns a lot of restaurants. Everything is about restaurants, bailing out restaurants, PPP money for restaurants, spending money in restaurants. I'm so sick and tired of hearing about this pandemic and Republicans with restaurants. It's like, get on with it. There is more in this country that has been impacted by COVID-19 than just restaurants. Yes, they've been impacted, but is the entire country bailing out restaurants during this pandemic? We're not bailing out grocery stores. We're not bailing out mom and pop shops. It's just crazy. Tamusha, somebody please give this guy his own channel, a huge network. They wouldn't know how to handle the truth. They wouldn't know how to handle the truth. Steve Mnuchin and Larry Kudlow had the audacity to flatly lie to our faces in the last 24 hours. If you didn't see my rent moratorium video, our fourth video of the day, it's disgusting. Steve Mnuchin and Larry Kudlow appeared on CNN and Fox on Sunday, said that they're going to give you rent moratorium protection, and it's going to be in the second stimulus package bill, and the bill is written and finalized, and they debut it less than 24 hours later, and it's not in there. What? Do they think we don't hear their statements and not remember them 24 hours later? I mean, one thing about Mitch McConnell, you have to admit, is that he'll just tell you he's not going to do it, and he'll stick with, I'm not going to do it. But the rest of them say, yeah, it's going to be in there, and then 24 hours is not in there. Russell, it would surprise me that all future checks and the future stimulus packages are $1,200. Myrna, that laugh face you said, anyone in prison, had me cracking up before you finished the sentence. Sharon's spiritual place. It's sad that Republicans only care about themselves. They really only care about a very, very finite group of people. Gilgar, I'm angry too. They don't care. Becky, heels act more like heels act. They stuck. I mean, who are you? Are you supporting a heel or you're supporting a hero? There's nothing heroic about the heels act. It's just a bunch of heels wrote this. Anna, the wind is really picking up. Instead of giving the rich more money, they should have given them children who really need this money school starting. They should help out. Very well said. Russ Ferenz, $1,200 check is a joke. Yeah, I want to know where this number of $1,200 came from. I wasn't doing this channel when the first stimulus package was created, so I don't know the whole backdrop of $1,200. But I have a feeling it's just grounded in the clouds of junk. It's sort of like Steve Mnuchin's, I'll give you 70% of your unemployment because you're only 70% of a person. I don't know where these numbers are coming from. It's like, let's just invent them out of the sky and hopefully they work. It's not the heels bill, it's the meals bill. I love that. Marchie Mandel, oh my God, your videos are awesome. It is the meals bill. I mean, meals and buildings with meals and shipping of meals. I'm just like, oh my God, they must be so damn fat, this Congress, because all they talk about is their damn meals. Sheila, you're exactly right. There's nothing but a bunch of liars. Fernando, they want to force people with low income to go back to work. Jacqueline Fizzer, yeah, they're done insulting us. I was having enough of Mitch McConnell insulting all the viewers of this channel. You want to work for our state. You want to stay at home. You don't want to work. You want to get rich on unemployment benefits. Okay, he's done with that. Now he's on to his damn meals. Kimberly, when the election comes, just use it at the go and think what is lesser of the two evils. Tamara, done with what living? It's like we're burdens. Carmen Francis, they're all right. They leave it in God's hands. Sonia, can anyone struggle to pay for basic groceries and afford to eat out in restaurants? And a lot of these restaurants are shut down. And that's what these, it's just a hot mess. There are restaurants that are quoted by broadcast news on a regular basis, restaurant owners that have 20, 40 chain locations, and they say, hey, I'm down to 5 chain locations open. The rest of them are shut down by shutdown orders. So I have 5 of 40 locations open. I have 95% of my workforce let go. And then the Republicans are like, let's give them some more PPP money so they can take some more loans. I'm like, no one needs more loans here. No one needs more loans for zombie businesses, as the shark Kevin O'Leary calls them. He calls businesses that are really, working on fumes. They're basically shut down at this point. But going out and getting PPP loans is just like, it sort of reminds me of that orange Lambo that I had on LALATE mornings this morning. It's just, the guy went out and bought an orange Lambo with Steve Mnuchin's PPP money program. Boy. Please watch tomorrow's video, tomorrow's broadcast. I love doing that show in the morning. Eva, can people just pray and pray? We all really need to pray at this point. Teresa, the HEALS Act sounds absurd. They should give more money to the people. It is absurd, and the name of the program, I mean, it's called the HEALS Act. As soon as they announced it, I'm like, did they really call that the HEALS Act? I mean, not only is the content crap, but the name of the bill is crap. God. Ultimately, my concern for you is that this crap bill is such crap that we might be sitting here in 10 days from now and we don't see any progress. Ultimately, where this channel is going to be in the next 10 days is I'm going to be updating you on a regular basis where the parties are negotiating. So if Nancy comes out and says, we're moving progress on this, we're not making progress on that, I will update you accordingly. I will tell you how this negotiations is going, but please stay with me, stay motivated, stay focused, stay smiling. Join me tomorrow morning at about 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for the morning's LA Late broadcast. Having a lot of fun with that show. And stay in LA for more.